Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be our first day doing this yet-to-be-named podcast. We will have, when we figure out the name, which hopefully to God by the time we get this up, we'll have a name for it. We'll have Hannah insert it in post right here, or here, or here, maybe at the table or something. It'll be somewhere. But that's the wonderful thing about technology is we can come in ill-prepared and Hannah can fix it. Here's to a great time. Okay, well,
cheers.
Oh, cheers, yeah.
This is just water. But don't worry, we had something before we started.
We did, yeah. It's always good to, keep nice and warm inside.
Indeed.
Okay, well, thank you for tuning in and giving this a shot. Like I said, this is our very first show. My name is Max Will, and with me today is the immaculate
Thomas Gaither.
Do you think I was going to introduce you? I almost did, but I was just like, I'm going to make it awkward.
I thought you were going to go the extra mile there at the end.
I thought about it too, but against that judgment, I said no. He's going to do it himself. He's a strong, independent Thomas.
Just take my lightsaber and go home.
No. It's mine now. Speaking of that, like these lightsabers, man. This isn't
the $200 one from. I haven't even made it down to Disneyland to the Star Wars land. This is your $8 Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber, baby.
I knew it was Qui-Gon, and that's exactly why you're turning in, because chances are you probably knew that too. Or you're just hoping for something else. It's like, oh Christ, it's Star Wars.
Again.
Yeah, we're a variety. It's all things nerd here on this podcast. But yeah, so Hannah and I actually, we went, I want to say it was 2019, we went down to Galaxy's Edge. It's incredible.
It is.
It's incredible. I'm not going to lie, it feels like you're on another world, because they have like, the perimeter is all like built up, like hills and mountaintops and everything. Mm-hmm. It's cool. It's where I made R7 over here.
Okay, so it fulfills the Walt Disney dream, where you're in the park, you're surrounded, you can't see just normal outside world, so it just immerses you all that more.
I'd say it fulfills the Star Wars dream.
Okay.
More than the Disney dream.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess part of it is.
Well, his whole theme was between each park, it's, hey, when you're in the park, you don't see the outside world.
Right. Yeah.
You're in that world.
Well, so one thing I wish, and I understand why Disney did it.
But you got broken up in between parks once they found out about the land and who was buying it. And he's like, dang it, now I got to build roads and busways and everything in between.
Construction? But, well, so I'll say my one little gripe about Galaxy's Edge. And it's, so the stormtroopers walking around are all like, is it the New Order?
Yes.
Yeah, or First Order. It's the First Order.
First Order.
Yeah,
right.
so it's all like the sequel trilogy characters, which, I mean, I get it.
They look
because
cool. They look cool.
Sure, yeah. But I do wish it was like the classic. Like, I wish instead of Kylo Ren, it was Darth Vader. I wish instead...
Vader and stormtroopers.
Yeah, it was like proper stormtroopers.
Boba Fett. A little mouse droid or something.
Did you say Boba Fett?
Boba Fett, yeah.
Sir. Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
My
bad.
That hurt me. No, it's fine. I know another guy, he's a Lord of the Rings fan. He keeps calling Aragorn Aragon.
Oh,
it's like,
that's a whole other fantasy series, sir.
It hurts me. And there's been a couple times I've corrected him. I always do it gently, because, he and I talk a lot of nerd at work. That one little bit, it always kind of gets me a little bit. And most of the time I don't correct him. I'm just like, it's fun. it's fun.
I can't convince you. You've been programmed.
Well, that's like you. You keep spelling Hannah's name without an H at the end.
I'm sorry, Hannah.
I had to call you out on it on this podcast. This whole thing was a setup. It's a setup. Well, no, and I love it because anytime you'll message with, like, and include Hannah's name in a text, it's always HANNA. And I'll always follow it up with Hannah with the H at the end.
What's your name in my contacts? Hold on. This might be the root
Whatever
of
it
all
is
the
ain't
problems.
right.
Oh no. Anyway, I need to fix that later.
Speaking of feeling silly, what have you been up to, Thomas? What is going on in the wonderful existence that is Thomas Gaither?
Well, it's finally fall, and it's like 50 degrees outside, so hoodies and sweatshirts are in. And the Ahsoka series just finished, the first season.
Hold that. I think our mascot would like to say something. Hey, Fozzie. So, we'll get a nice little bit of this in there. This is our hand in my sweet 7-month-old Bernese mountain dog, Mr. Fozzie. Sweet little fool. All right, Ahsoka. You mentioned Ahsoka.
Yes.
What did you think?
There's...
Don't be bashful. It's only going out to the internet. They don't have strong opinions.
Right. So I've kept track with trying to watch everything that Star Wars on Disney Plus has been putting out. So Clone Wars, Rebels, which Ahsoka's in both of those animated series. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but I strongly recommend them. They are great for what they are.
They're really good. So for the Clone Wars, I haven't seen Rebels. I haven't watched that.
Right.
I did watch the Clone Wars, and what I'd say about the Clone Wars, it totally surprised me. It totally surprised me. I think I definitely recommend it to anyone who likes Star Wars, because at first I was just like, oh, it's a cartoon. It's made for kids. I'm really not that interested. But the thing is, and I mean, there's definitely moments like that where it is a little silly.
To everyone out there who says it's just a cartoon,
People are brutally killed in that show.
there are so many war crimes.
So many deaths.
So, there's no Geneva Convention or planet in that world.
I know. In a galaxy far, far away, there is no God.
No.
It's just.
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, there were some things that were just more mature. I wouldn't say adult, but it's not what it's not something you'd expect from a kids show. On Sesame Street, Elmo doesn't come out with a sword and start like cutting off Grover's arms or anything. But
one of the best moments is Anakin catches this admiral who has this bomb planted. There's other clones and such trying to defuse it, and Anakin gets the codes and then just offs the guy. He's like, "It's been great talking to you," while he's dying in the background with the saber burn in his chest. And Anakin's just like, "See ya, I won," and runs off. And I'm like,
may the force be with you, bitch.
yeah, he's...
Well, and then there's one. It's they go back to Geonosis, and it's like really, really well done. Like it did, honestly. And again, this is a cartoon, and I have my biases because I love Star Wars. I mean, the action sequences and the war sequences and the battle sequences in those 2 episodes in particular rival war movies I've seen.
Yes.
And I mean, I enjoy those too to a certain extent.
If you're a fan of the older action war movies, I'm thinking like even like Predator has that vibe. If you want something that hits that vibe of like a war movie, the Umbara campaign arc, find that and watch it. It is just dark and just it focuses on the clones and this Jedi who is not a good guy at all, and just the results of that whole campaign. Oof, it's bad and it's dark.
But back to Ahsoka.
Back to Ahsoka.
I mean, so
Yep.
I will.
She grew up through the Clone Wars.
Yeah. So yeah. If you don't know, Ahsoka was originally created by Dave Filoni for the Clone Wars. Filoni has argued that she's kind of the main character of that series, which I would say that's fair to say, like,
She's new to it all.
yeah, and I mean, but he also
She has the audience perspective on the whole.
yes, that was his
situation.
idea. It's like I want someone younger to introduce this new generation of Star Wars fans to this world, and oh, and also back to the Clone Wars. If you ever feel like Episode 2 and Episode 3, or it's like kind of jolting, or it's like whoa, you know what else? It develops so much of the story in between. It's so much. But back to Ahsoka. So she was in the Clone Wars show, and then again, I haven't watched Rebels, but I know she's in Rebels. I don't know, does she play a prevalent role
She
in
is
it,
in
or is she
Rebels.
just kind of in a few episodes?
Yep. She uses the code name Fulcrum, which is just the code name for someone giving intel to the rebels. And I believe she makes her appearance in the second or third season. Actually, I believe it is the second. And
So Fulcrum's just kind of a balancing act there.
yes, several other individuals use that code name. It's just something that if the Empire catches it, it's Fulcrum, says this or whatever in this transmission. It's like, okay, well, who is that? And it's like, we don't know. Just someone named Fulcrum. Could be anyone. But so you see her growing up in the Clone Wars, and then you see an older version of her in Rebels. Ahsoka, the end scene of Rebels is actually end of the first episode in Ahsoka and the beginning of the second episode in Ahsoka.
And so, well, okay. So first off, when now that we've gotten that,
Yep.
Before we get too heavy into it, so we'll start with non-spoilers first for anyone who still hasn't watched the show. Which, if you haven't watched it yet, it's okay. It's fine. I get it. I didn't watch it till Wednesday, and I finished it Thursday. So
You powered through it.
I did. I didn't have anything else to do. So
I watched it Tuesday night at midnight every night, the moment it came out.
you're just more dedicated, I guess. Well, so my thing is with it, I was not exactly excited for it. Now, in
Expectations
the Clone Wars,
just didn't have any.
I didn't have any, and it's so. And again, I love her character in the Clone Wars. Love her. She's easily like one of, if not the best character. I actually even liked her early on in the seasons where everyone says she's kind of annoying. I still liked her. I thought she was a great character.
And the starting movie, I think there was a
Yeah.
movie to start
Yeah, it
all
was
that.
a movie, and then yeah.
Yep.
But so I wasn't excited about it, and I definitely have experienced some Star Wars fatigue because, and this is a talk for another day, because we'll bring in
That's
some
a
others for
whole
this
other
one.
episode.
So yeah, so we could probably spend a good hour to 2 hours talking about the sequels, because I personally did not like them. That being said, if you liked them, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Wasn't for me. I didn't like the choices.
The actors, fantastic.
Yeah, actors great.
What they were given, not so much.
Yeah, so I think it comes down to writing and direction. Were the issues, because they look great. Music, John Williams did great with the music. Actors did great with what they had, and even the characters. Like I can't say there was a character I hated. I think there were characters that were wasted. I think that's the most diplomatic way to say that I fucking hated it. I hated it. But moving on, we're not talking about this right now. So Ahsoka, yes.
Ahsoka. Yep.
Well, okay, in Star Wars, like I watched a couple seasons of The Mandalorian. I enjoyed The Mandalorian. I still need to watch the third season.
Season 1,
I
loved it.
I-
Season 2, great. Season 3, it feels like we're stepping into some fog. We don't really know what the plan is every episode. What's happening?
Well, and so I haven't watched season 3 yet because I heard, oh, you should watch Book of Boba Fett before you watch season 3 because I've heard Book of Boba Fett is
Yes.
Mandalorian 2.5.
He shows up
And-
for 2 episodes and contributes.
So, and I heard Book of Boba Fett wasn't very good. And I love the character. and again, this might be a discussion for another day, where Star Wars has this problem of not letting their characters die. Getting worse than Marvel. But again, a discussion for another day. Ahsoka. So going into it, so I thoroughly enjoyed Ahsoka. I loved it. I think the cast was great. It looked great. And one thing, so I love this so much.
The volume, that set that they use, phenomenal.
Yeah. I love that you've seen a return to some practical effects. Now, I know some of it, you got to have some CGI for some of that stuff. The original trilogy didn't use CGI, obviously.
Right.
But it's at the point you got to have it almost.
So even the opening scene, where, again, we're not doing spoilers, just the settings we go to starts off very familiar. It pays homage to the opening of the original trilogy. Instead of Darth Vader walking through the halls, it's this other cloaked figure in these white, pristine halls. It's like, hey, here's your nice little order you've set up, and I am here to ruin it. Then, again, some of the other things the volume pulls off, we go to a red forest planet that just looks, it's misty, it's dark almost the whole time. It's looks spectacular. I just love the visuals that they're able to pull off.
It does. They did a great job. And I think Filoni and then Favreau were the two showrunners, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just feel like they get it. I feel like they get it in a way that some people haven't gotten. Because, so a couple things I'll say, again, non-spoiler. I love how it did pay homage to the original trilogy, and it paid homage to the prequels and the Clone War stuff. And I think they balanced it really well. Considering it's set after both of those, I felt, and I mean, it would probably help anyone who hasn't watched it yet or is considering watching it to watch the Clone Wars and to watch Rebels. Or it just kind of look up what it's about, because I mean, like, the big things to take away is Ahsoka is Anakin's Padawan. She survived Order 66.
Yes.
And she's gone on to kind of do her own thing during the set of this galactic civil war in the Empire.
Yes.
So, but
and timeline-wise, we are after the Clone Wars,
after Return of the Jedi,
Empire, after Return of the Jedi, and this New Republic's around. And there's still some Imperial holdouts out there. We haven't seen that much from them, but if you've watched Mandalorian,
you know they're there.
They're there.
Yeah.
They have a presence. And not everything is so smooth and nice.
Not hunky-dory.
New Republic.
Yeah.
No.
But music-wise, if I remember correctly, they actually brought back some classic Star Wars scores. If I remember correctly, and I know they used motifs from John Williams' compositions on those movies.
I tried to find the original soundtrack for the show before coming here today, and I was like, please, where is it? I need to listen to the whole thing
right now. Well, and then so another thing, I felt like there was a sense of wonder to it. Like, there were moments in that where I was literally like,
yes,
I was watching it on like a computer when I was streaming this, so I wasn't streaming it on the TV or anything. Would have been a better experience, but still, I mean, it just made me think, wow, like, whoa, that's cool. That is cool, and I can kind of go into that a little bit more once we get to like the spoiler talk.
Well, the pace of it when someone is somewhere new and they are just exploring. It feels like those shots where it's Luke and Obi-Wan and they're on their speeder and they're just going through the desert and they stop on a ridge and like, look at that, it's a spaceport over there. Because we don't know what that is. It's just a little city or something made of dirt. But he's like, oh, okay, so that's what all these spaceships are, flying in and out of it. And Obi-Wan throwaway line, it's a hive of scum and villainy. And you get there and you're just like, oh my gosh, there's a weird dude with like a skull and a helmet walking in the background. Like, who's him? No idea. Doesn't matter. Don't talk to him.
It's part of the world. Don't look at him.
Yeah.
Don't make eye contact.
You get these bits where they arrive and it doesn't go right off to the next scene where they're traveling through it. Even if it's just 10 or 15 seconds, you're just like, it's not meandering.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. It definitely gives you time to sit there and soak in the environment that they're introducing you to. It's not just like, here's a planet, spaceship, whale. We'll talk about that later.
The space whales.
The space whales. So when we again, I'll talk about the space whales later.
Rebels?
Yeah. So I definitely, and then Ray Stevenson, God rest him, fantastic job. I loved his character. He had a really interesting character, and I mean, I don't know if they'll recast him or what they'll do for that instance. My God, it's a fuzzy. It's a spooky ghost. Look at the noggin. Num 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 num. No. Loki fell down. The God of Mischief does not take a nap.
I really want to see what they have planned.
Yeah.
I think around the 6th episode, we start seeing he really has a plan. He has a different motive from everything else. And
Hannah's getting tackled by the dog now. She's trying so hard. She's trying so hard not to laugh, and he has jumped on her back. He said, no one's giving me attention. He said, what kind of show is this if I'm not in it?
For the few scenes that he has, he steals the show, I feel.
Yeah.
And he's, what else do we want to talk about before we start hitting spoilers?
Let's just get into spoilers. So here's your spoiler warning. I don't know how long we'll talk about spoilers, but we'll just say, here's your warning. All right, spoilers. Ahsoka spoilers.
Yep.
So the big one.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's here, and he's in live action. Oh my gosh, it's great to see him.
He's a big blue meanie.
Big blue meanie, red eyes, jet black hair, white, almost pristine uniform. Has some scruffs on it. He's been gone for 10 years.
Oh, is that what the time was in the thing? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that because
he's been stranded and gone for 10 years since the end of Rebels.
And how did he get there, Mr. Rebel Watcher?
So, the Jedi, Ezra, that we find around episode 4, again, characters from Rebels, sort of a whole little family dynamic. He was a Jedi Padawan of the Jedi in that series, Kanan Jarrus, who passes. Kanan Jarrus is the Padawan in Star Wars The Bad Batch, who escapes them because of their programming fails in them. They're like, why is everyone trying to kill the Jedi? And he lets this one Padawan run off. That's Kanan Jarrus. Ezra has 2 or 3 major things. One, he always loves lying whenever he gets captured by their enemies. 2, he loves commandeering stormtrooper armor and pretending to be a stormtrooper.
Oh.
That's what happens at the very end.
I was wondering
why he did that. Oh, he goes through so many different sets.
Well,
he's like, I don't have this helmet yet.
Well, so my thing is, that was one thing I thought was a little risque on Ezra's part. So when he escapes, and
takes
he
a
comes
shuttle,
off, so it makes sense
off.
that he come out and he had the stormtrooper armor.
Yes.
What I didn't understand, why the hell didn't he take the mask off? He walks into a Republic base in full stormtrooper gear, wearing a helmet,
Guns drawn on him from everyone.
It's like, you silly bastard. You could have gotten shot. Why didn't you just come out with your... Like, he should have automatically came out of the ship with his helmet off, raised his hands up. And I get... So, I get it's like, oh, it's a character reveal, and what's her name?
So,
Is it Hera?
General Hera.
Hera, okay.
Green Twi'lek. She was the mom figure. Again, it was a whole sort of family dynamic. She was sort of the mom figure of the Rebels cast. So for her, and Ezra played, again, he was 10 years younger, basically, you know, the newfound little brother. Sabine was the older sister, and if you've watched Mandalorian season 2 or 3, I think Zeb is in it. He's just the purple alien at the bar that the flight commander talks to.
That might be season 3.
That's Gara Zeb. Yep. So Zeb's out there. He's the older brother, and then Chopper's sort of the dog / galactic mass murderer bot. Oh yeah. Some stuff happens in Rebels.
I mean,
More war crimes.
I mean, you got to have something happen.
Yep.
For,
for
show.
Hera, that is a huge reveal. Hey, your little baby boy who's been gone for 10 years is back. And the reason he was gone and Thrawn was gone, third thing for Ezra is he's got this cool force sensitivity where he gets along with animals. And he also sees some force spirit animals that'll pop in a scene and disappear the next.
Is that why he did so good with the crab people?
Probably. Probably. He's got a good vibe with that. I guess that'd be similar to Qui-Gon's sort of a Jedi who's just out there doing their thing in the galaxy. He used the space whales. I don't have their name written down at the moment, but
I think they just called them space whales.
Yes.
Or didn't
they?
Yeah. Or cosmic whale. I don't remember.
Yep, they can travel through hyperspace. And people saw that, and that is how they got the inspiration to develop hyperspace travel, watching these whales. He used a whole flock of them around Thrawn's Star Destroyer, the Chimera, and whooped him way away, far away, to a whole different galaxy, apparently.
Which I thought was cool that you got to go to another galaxy, because they've never done that with Star Wars before.
No, they have not.
So it was
inner,
really interesting.
The middle, and then outer rim.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I thought that was really cool going to... And I feel like it just expanded upon Star Wars lore a little bit more. Because, I mean, I think the Clone Wars did a good job of, they gave you, over time, in small doses, they gave you all this lore, and I think Ahsoka was cool because you got more of that lore. And, so they follow, Morgan Elsbeth?
Yes.
Morgan Elsbeth is trying to get Thrawn from this other galaxy. Ezra
is already there.
Assume is there as well, which he is there.
Yes.
And then
alive and doing well without his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Gave that to Sabine. Was like, hey, take this. You're gonna need it.
Yeah. Why would I possibly need a weapon? But yeah, I just really like that they gave more lore to it. I like that they expanded upon it, and it left with some mystery, especially
going to a new setting.
Yeah, and then what was Ray Stevenson's character's name? It was like S.H. something.
Baylan Skoll.
Oh, Skull. Yeah, so Baylan Skoll, I like that he wasn't wholly bad. Yes. I like that he wasn't wholly bad, and I didn't realize this till someone pointed it out. He's got an orange lightsaber. It's the first time we've seen an orange lightsaber, so I thought that was neat.
Yep.
But I like it because I guess just Sith is red, and then, well, besides the Inquisitors. Which... That's a little gripe I have about post-Clone Wars stuff, is the Inquisitors. Because
the Inquisitorium, all of that,
so
yep.
It seems
and
like a liability
yes.
For the Sith. But oh well. Fozzie has returned. He is glorious. Look at that magnificent bastard. He said, "Yes, I am fluffy. Fear me." But yeah, I loved it, and I'm excited for season 2 because they do leave it off. So, Ahsoka and Sabine are, did I say that? Sabine
Yes.
are left stranded in this other galaxy, with the crab people. And every time I think, did you see that old episode of South Park? Crab people,
Yep.
taste like crab, talk like people, crab people. I had to finish it. I had to finish. No way. But so I'm very interested to see where it leads to. And again, I don't know if they're going to have to write off Balin's skull or recast him. I think I saw a fan casting of, who was it? They chose an actor that kind of looked like Ray Stevenson. Can't remember who it was. Maybe it was like Russell Crowe. For whatever reason, Russell Crowe's in my head. But yeah, and I mean, like you said, Ray Stevenson steals every scene he's in because
there's mystery about him.
Yeah,
we don't exactly know his motives. He's just not. He's not Maul. He's not Vader.
He's a former Jedi.
Survived Order 66.
And he's not wholly bad. He's working as a mercenary. Now his apprentice, what's her name?
Oh God.
I know I'm forgetting all the names over here like a freaking fake fan, but
she's very much more geared towards your normal Sith apprentice. She's like, we need power. We need it now. Yeah, and he's like, whoa. That'll only just get you killed.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like more than anything, he's on some kind of mission. I don't know if it's like for some kind of enlightenment or greater understanding.
What we know is he wants to end the cycle.
Yes.
He's been through it, and he's fed up with the Republic, and then the Empire, the rise of the Jedi, the fall of the Jedi, the purge of the Jedi, the rise of the Sith, the fall of the Sith. And he's like, it's been going on and on and on. I want to get to the beginning, and I want to end the cycle.
Yeah.
So we're just like, whoa, okay.
And so that's my thing, where it's like, I'm interested to see what they do with the character because of Ray Stevenson's death. And I do hope they do something, just because I was really interested in the character. I mean, it won't be the same, just because he was just excellent in it. You got it?
Her name is Shin Hati.
Shin Hati. Okay, so I was right about the S. It was Shin. Coming next season, Armpit. Shin. Armpit.
Oh.
Wow.
I was like,
what? Question my joke in the middle of filming. Like,
maybe. So she's definitely more our classic, I assume, Sith Padawan. Although all that we've seen anyone like that is like Maul and Dooku following Sidious, who's just the politician. So, you know.
Well, and the thing is, so Shin and Baylan are very obviously the foils for Sabine and Ahsoka.
Yep.
Because, I mean, they're just...
So episode 1 is just titled Master and Apprentice, which I love, because we immediately get Baylan and Shin's entrance to the whole series, and then we see Ahsoka and Sabine, and who are in totally different boats starting out. Shin and Baylan, at the beginning, they are, thick as thieves. They are on a mission, doing their thing, doing their own mission. And then by the end, Baylan's like, I gotta let you go. You've got he says conquest or grand plans in your heart. And he's like, you've just got your own thing to go do. So you know what? You go with Thrawn and the Empire and you go do your thing. I gotta go do something over here. Peace.
And then they're all promptly abandoned by Thrawn, who was using them the entire time.
Yep.
Which, big surprise, the big bad. Yeah. Just gonna use them.
In terms of Thrawn, things to know about if you have no clue. So he was a general, I believe, at the time during the normal Republic. He knew Anakin Skywalker. He was a part of the military complex. That's why he knows, you were General Baylan. He knows him. And Thrawn's got a mind like Durasteel. He remembers everything. The way you'll see this in Rebels, the way he takes someone apart. He studies your culture, he understands how you fight, why you fight, and he will use these against you to systematically, slowly find you and take you apart.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a very well-written villain. I was impressed because it wasn't just some big megalomaniac.
No.
He seemed like he's very much at a military mind.
This is a figurehead that the Imperial remnants have just been waiting. They're waiting for their Grand Admiral to return.
Long live the Empire.
Oh man, what a way to wait. He's like, I've won this battle. See ya. We win. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh man. He's also a character from the expanded universe before Disney bought everything and canceled it all. And he is known for a series called Heir to the Empire. So essentially, the Heir to the Empire, what did happen was, it's essentially the story that happens next. Luke's over here trying to do he's just learning. I need to go and start finding Jedi and start training them. We need to train Leia in the Force. She's still trying to do politics with the New Republic that's being formed. Han Solo and Chewie are kind of emissaries in between the New Republic and sort of the criminal underworld. But
that seems about right. Yeah. That's more their style.
And then you have Thrawn, who is just dealing with the Imperial remnants. And even in Rebels, you deal with why was Thrawn eventually, why did he lose in that whole thing? It's due to command structure underneath him being glory hunters. And just, I want the thrill of this victory.
You have to follow the chain of command.
Yeah, and he's like, you need to stay in my formation or it falls apart. And it
fell apart.
Yep. A cool thing in Rebels, while he was getting sidelined by who's the Grand Moff in the original trilogy? Tarkin. Tarkin is all about big, sundering firepower. That's how we're going to win with fear. The Death Star and all that. And Thrawn's like, well, if we look at how these rebel cells are fighting, that won't work. If you blow up a planet to kill 5 guys, you're going to run out of planets and the Empire's going to fall apart. What you need is, and he builds the TIE Defender program. It's 3 wings with 6 blasters on it, or 4 major wings with really 6. It's a cool design. It's shielded unlike normal TIE fighters. It has a hyperdrive. It's able to basically be on par with X-wings. He's like, if you start deploying these, you're going to start, winning your fights, and these guys can follow them instead of, okay, we need to get back to the cruiser. Now the cruiser's got to find out where they went. He's like, you need to deal with the problem that's at your hand and not go bigger and better and bolder. But Tarkin was really running everything, and in Rebels, they sabotage his whole TIE Defender project. So it's like, hey, if that final battle, every X-Wing is against thousands of TIE Defenders, which are on par or better, we're doomed. Instead, it's, every X-Wing can take out 10 or 20 TIE fighters because they're not shielded, a glancing blow and they're gone. So Thrawn was just, he tries to think of it, but he's stuck in this pickle spot usually, where it's just something goes wrong for him. And it's just if we stuck with my plan, we'd be fine.
Well, okay, so I want to segue off that for a second. C-3PO. So C-3PO makes a cameo, and I love seeing him, because I think he starts off, wasn't his line oh my?
Oh, yes.
Or something like that, isn't that when he comes up?
Just wonderful. Just wonderful to see him.
And I love that they reference Leia. Now, obviously, Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. But I think that was a proper way to say these characters still exist. They're out there.
They're in the world.
but not feeling the need to like throw them into every scene.
If you'd done that, that would have stolen the scene from everyone else in that. Mon Mothma, General Hera, and oh my gosh, it's Leia's in the scene. Instead, it's C-3PO, which is still just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Also, C-3PO's he's a droid. He can be here.
Yeah.
He sent as a liaison. It
didn't feel forced.
Yes.
No pun intended. But it didn't feel forced. I thought it was nice. And was it Anthony Daniels? And so it's Anthony Daniels voicing C-3PO again, which is great. And but that's the nice thing about something. Well, I know he was in the suit before. I don't know if he was in the suit for this because. I mean, if I he's probably in his 70s. It's probably not very comfortable to walk around in that thing. So they might have had like a body double or whatever, just someone else in the suit.
Was Admiral Akbar on the
Akbar,
council?
So
at the center of that?
They never say his name, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be Admiral Akbar.
I mean, it's Mon Mothma.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Like Nub Nig or something, or the
pancake man.
Yeah, the thing that's got like 2 levels of face. And
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, and I just remember in Return of the Jedi, he's in the Falcon with Lando, and he's like. If you haven't watched Ahsoka, give it a shot. It was a lot of fun. You don't need to watch Rebels and the Clone Wars because I mean you'd be dedicating a lot of time. You would be. So if you want to skip it, you can absolutely skip it and still enjoy the show. The characters are well written. You care about them. There's actually like a plot, and even though it's broken up into episodes, it's not episodic. Where like The Mandalorian's more episodic in nature.
Yes.
Where it's like, here's an adventure this week, here's an adventure this week. This is very much like...
This definitely flows.
Yeah, it's got a good flow to it. Other shows, did you watch Loki by chance?
I've not yet watched the new... I've seen like 2 little bits from TikTok, and I was like, gotta get off of this.
Don't spoil it. So I won't spoil it for you. God bless her. Hannah's in there. So for those of you...
it's Pippin.
Who don't know.
And he's gone.
Oh my God, it was a Pippin.
A Pippin sighting.
It's my level of nerd. My cat, one of my cats is named after Lord of the Rings character, Pippin. Yeah, Fonzie doesn't like to be left alone. He's 7 months old. He loves attention, and he's a Velcro dog with separation anxiety. So props to Hannah, who is running all of this and distracting the beast. Yay, Hannah! She's also got a Grogu shirt on. For those of you who don't know Grogu, that is Baby Yoda. For those of you who are uncultured. But okay, so Loki. So obviously I won't spoil it because you haven't watched it.
Yep.
It was awesome.
It's awesome.
Awesome. I loved it. It was a great kicking off point because season 1...
Does it take off right after the end of season 1?
Yes.
Right.
It picks up right where you left off, and
awesome.
Ki Hoi Kwan.
Yep.
I believe I'm pronouncing his name correctly. If not, I doubt he's not going to watch this. But if so, sorry, sir. You were fantastic. He's great. He is great. But I think also he's got such a lovable personality in general. You just really want to be his friend. Like, I want to be his friend. If I ever met him on the street, I mean, first off, I had to go, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones!
Yeah.
But also now he's an Oscar winner, so I can't say that. But no, he's great. He's great in it. All of them are great.
He's playing like a tech support kind of character or role.
Essentially, yeah.
But in the time variance authority, so.
Yes, and he's down in like this lower level and gets no social interaction whatsoever. It's like, I guess, working in IT, but if no one actually needs you. So you just kind of sit there.
You're on the payroll, and if everything's working smoothly, you're doing your job.
But yeah, I thought it was really good. I look forward to seeing more. That was another show where I was like, well, to be fair, I underestimated Loki. The show of the first season, I was just like, okay, well, we'll see how it goes. Because to me, it was just another one of those. I was like, we're bringing back a dead character.
Right.
Even though in game he had came back and wandered off, and that's where that picks up. But first season of Loki, loved it. kind of got disinterested. And again, some of it boils down to fatigue with
Yes.
Marvel, because they've just dropped way too much in too short a time. And a lot of it's just subpar. A lot of it's subpar. So it was another one of those things where it's not like anything I was actively looking forward to.
Right.
But Hannah loves Loki. She's a Loki fanatic. So this is her little Loki right here. And she's got like a dozen Loki toys. Like a dozen. Like she's got a whole shelf. Stand up. There we go. She's got a ton of Loki stuff. Huge fan. So she wanted to watch it. And I was just like, I'm not actively looking forward to it or anything. It's just, but once we started, I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I remembered how much I loved the first season, and I'm excited to see where the second season goes. And so building off Loki, just so in other news, I guess this is kind of old news at this point, but the writer's strike is finally over.
Okay.
Which is awesome. They got everything they wanted, which they absolutely deserved.
After your writer's strike, do not write, the big bad guy from 3 movies ago came back. I don't want to see that ever. You can show me why. Do
Rise of
not
Skywalker.
just...
Well, so I'm gonna say I think a lot of that boils down more to studio interference, because studios have this whole checklist. It's like, okay, we need this kind of character, we need a romance. We need to have these progressive ideals implemented in everything. Which
shove it down your throat.
Yeah, it's but at the same time, representation is great. It's absolutely necessary that everyone feels like they're being heard, they're understood, and they're being valued and appreciated.
Yep.
But also the studios just kind of need to be less about it, So I feel like a lot of
they definitely don't
writing
take out and jingle it in front of you. It's like, just slide it in. Be smooth about it.
Make it more natural.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to feel forced. Like, it can be written much better. And I think a lot of that is just the studios, more than the writers. Well, one nice thing, though, is pre-production on the Batman 2 just started off. Matt Reeves. I'm so freaking excited for it.
So, man, the way they did the Riddler, I think, was just great.
Yeah.
We got to see Batman be a detective.
Which was
and
awesome.
not do, I'm going to shoot a bullet out of a minigun into a wall, and I'm going to scan it and get a 3D print of
a thumb.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. That was one of those things where it's just like, okay.
I was like, comic book movie, right. Yeah. But even though, wow, that whole trilogy felt very real.
Yeah.
But he's being a detective. The Riddler's making riddles. It's a thumb drive.
And I was that was great. That was
oh my gosh.
I mean, messed up, but great. Like I think he was believable. It was believable, and I was really, when they announced it was going to be the Riddler, I was actually kind of worried, because I was like, I feel like you picked a hokey villain. Like, I liked the Riddler.
Similar panic to when they announced, for me, it was similar panic when they announced that the villain for the first Spider-Man movie for the 3rd time was going to be Vulture. I was like, the old guy who's a cannibal who, like, tries to steal...
Is he a cannibal in the comics?
I think so.
Oh.
I think...
I mean...
Like
everyone's got to eat.
I was like, how are they gonna do this? And it's like, no. He's an aviator. He's like an ex-vet. That's how he has all this like air. And then he gets the Tinkerer guy to like, hey, all this alien tech is everywhere, and we're helping clean it up. And they go and they build that suit and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah. So
he's like, we're laying low. We're just doing little heists. Because if we get too big, the Avengers will show up. And I'm just like, dude, I'd love to see this guy in an Avengers level movie.
Well, also it's Michael Keaton.
Yes.
And Michael
Oh
Keaton
my gosh.
is great in everything he does. Like, I love Michael Keaton.
And he's able to be very terrifying while being very subtle about it.
Well,
When
it's
he's just
his
sitting in the-
eyes. It's his eyes. He's
Yep.
got like this really great control of his eyes, where he can get this kind of crazy look to him, and you're just like,
when he's figuring
Oh.
out, you're the web slinger, and you're just sitting in the back of my car, and then evil businessman kind of thing. I'm gonna make you a deal.
and that's one thing where I think they made him out to be more of a three-dimensional character, and he's not just like, oh, he's a bad guy, he's a criminal. It's like, no, he ran a business. He was a business owner. Who
Got run out.
Yeah, who got ran out by the government.
By the lawyers and the government. Yep.
And he's trying to provide for his family.
Yeah.
I like that he only kills one person, and it was an accident when he kills the Shocker. It's like,
Yep.
I thought this was the anti-gravity gun. It's like,
Yep.
no, that's that one. He's like, oh. So I like that, he's not just some cold-hearted killer. He's a dude who's making poor decisions to try to support his family.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, I appreciate that. And, well, back to Batman, the Riddler, I think it was great where it kind of built into how young men who are kind of feel
Full of
like
vengeance.
outsiders. They feel like
Full of
outsiders
Yep.
and feel left behind, can turn to different forms of extremism
Oh yes.
in order to find a community. And because he's obviously very mentally ill, but almost all the Batman villains are mentally ill. But I'm excited to see. Is there anyone in particular you want to see in the Batman 2?
I would love to see them do Mr. Freeze.
Same.
But in that same setting, in that same world, I would love to see. Is it Victor Von Freeze? No. Wow. No, Victor. That's Doctor Doom. I'm getting the doctors and the misters confused.
Are you talking Hugo Strange, Doctor Strange?
Yes.
That's his name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
He'd be interesting.
there's a lot of doctors and misters in comics. Too many, maybe.
Yeah, it's almost like doctors are just like bad guys or something. I don't know. Don't trust the scientists, boys and girls. They make atomic bombs and napalm. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. And I've heard rumor it might be Hush, which would be cool. I've heard rumor of Professor Pig, which would be interesting. Because no one's touched either of them. Hush would be interesting too, because it's the whole idea behind Hush is he hates Bruce Wayne. He's got this personal vendetta against him, and he kills people and makes a mask of Bruce Wayne's face out of other people's faces
all
and
the
parades
different
around.
all the different parts.
Yeah, and tries to parade around and assume the identity of Bruce, and he's a genius.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's a good villain.
I'd like to see what they could do with Clayface.
I've heard
has
rumor
gotten
there might be a
pretty-
Clayface.
Clayface in the comics has gotten pretty interesting as of the past 2 or 3 years. It's been pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
He's teamed up with Batman too, and they've helped train him even further. And it's just like, hey, you need to control. If you can really control when you're solid or when you're, loose, and things can just pass through you, or how dense can you make something of your fist, and it gets ridiculous. He's able to. And again, he's an actor. He can go and be anything.
anyone.
That would be great.
Well, and then so the only thing I've really seen Clayface in as of recent would be the Arkham games, which came out a decade ago, actually longer than a decade ago. And then, have you seen the Harley Quinn show?
Yes.
So in it, he's really over the top. He's an actor.
Yes.
Yeah, just real over the top. And so that'd be cool to see.
All right, Ahsoka, but did you like it?
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah, I can't wait for the next season.
Filoni may be making a movie. If it's titled Heir to the Empire, we're talking Empire Strike Back levels of the bad guys come a knockin'.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this and listening to us ramble on. We're definitely going to create more content in the future, and this is new for us. I've never personally done a podcast.
I've never been on a podcast before.
But so this seemed like a fun idea.
What are the rules and laws?
I think there's a few words you can't say, but I can't say them here. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed doing this, and we'll be talking about a variety of stuff. It won't always be Star Wars. We got Lord of the Rings, we got Game of Thrones stuff, House of the Dragon, whenever that starts back up. Different movies, fandoms, books. Mm-hmm. God bless her. A shout out to Hannah, my sweet, sweet wife, for setting up all these cameras and the sound equipment and keeping the beast at bay. She actually has her own business. It's called Burn Bright Productions. If you have a wedding or a music video or a corporate event or a short film, go to burnbrightproductions.com. Check that out.
The link right there.
Yeah, but it's been a blast. Thank you all so much. Mr. Thomas Gaither, thank you so much.
Mr. Max Will.
Sayonara.
Peace.